So good evening, everyone. And this session will be based on your capital budgeting, followed by a few more sessions, definitely. And in this particular topic, that is capital budgeting, we will actually discuss 6 methods how the company can plan about their long-term assets decision making. Okay. So let's start with this introduction part. What is capital budgeting is all about. Okay. Now, when we come to this particular term, capital budgeting, because we'll discuss this term in 2 bifurcations. Okay. The first is capital and its budget. Okay. Always remember, whenever a particular proprietor, owner, or a particular partner of a company, whenever they plan for long-term assets, because such assets in which the investment is very huge, and once the investment is done, definitely that investment cannot be reverted back. Okay. So always remember, whenever we talk about the capital expenditure of the company, which is long-term in nature, so in order to decide whether the investment which the company is doing, whether it would be profitable or not, planning and assessment of all such questions in the mind of a particular owner of a company or a particular project, if we talk about, if these decision making will come under category of your capital budgeting. Capital budgeting, basically, it is one of the financial tool, or you could say project planning tool, in which whenever the company need to buy any land, any machinery, you could say any project if they are working on. So in order to decide whether these long-term investments would be profitable for the company or not, all such decision making will come under the head of your capital budgeting. Okay. Now, the basic, you could say, reasons, okay, or you could say the application why the capital budgeting topic is very, you could say, popular, even not in the finance field if I'm talking right now, but in the project department as well, right? Project management. So once you even might be you have a subject of project management later on, so you will find few topics which is related to the capital budgeting only. Now, the major consideration why the company is going for capital budgeting decision making, the first reason is diversification. Okay, for an example, if the company, if we talk about any organization, those who are only dealing in a particular range of products, if we talk about, okay, for example, we discuss from Reliance, okay, how the Reliance enter into the market into different, you could say, domain. Okay, different domain in terms of they are in telecommunication, they are in fashion industry, they are in you could say IT, they are in refineries. Okay, so always remember, whenever the company has to diversify its business line or its business venture, in such a cases, they always add some new subsidiary organization into their organization, okay, or you could say sister concern into their organization. So whenever the company want to diversify, definitely they would have some long-term or some huge capital requirement in order to start that business. Okay, so in case of diversification, capital budgeting is always helping the company in order to decide whether that particular diversification would be helpful for the company or fruitful for the company, or better to say profitable for the company or not. Second is expansion. For your existing organization where you are working on a such capacity, for example, if you have manufacturing concern and you are manufacturing units for 1,000 units per year or per month, we can say, okay, now the demand increase from the market. Okay, in such a cases, company have to expand the existing capacity of manufacturing. In such a cases, definitely you require the big premises, some extra machineries, workers, whatsoever. Everything needs some cost, okay, associated with that. In such a cases, expansion is again one of the reason how the company can actually plan about their expansion with the help of capital budgeting techniques. Okay, the third part is obsolescence. Okay, obsolescence is basically all about, like, for example, if we are using a machinery right now or any technological aspect or technological you could say methodology which we are using in the company, because of the outdated technology or because of some, you could say, having some best or you could say more efficient technology available in the market. So because the current technology which we are using in the company is not up to the mark, it's not that efficient, or in the company need to upgrade their technology, upgrade their, you could say, aspect. In such a cases, any technological advancement purpose, in such a reason, if the company need to expand, you could say, change their machinery, any, you could say, technology, any software, in such a cases, they need to plan for their machineries in this particular case. Next one is wear and tear of old equipment. So definitely when we are using a particular existing machinery, and because of the wear and tear, because of its continuous uses, the machinery performance or machinery efficiency might deteriorate. Okay, in such a cases, you need to replace the old machinery and you need to purchase the new one. In such a case as well, you always required a particular capital budgeting decision making in the organization. Okay. The next category which we have after wear and tear is about your productivity improvement. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the productivity improvement is nothing but basically it is one of the most important category whenever we talk about manufacturing organization. Whenever the company want to improve their productivity in terms of per unit cost associated when it's come to manufacturing. Okay, so productivity in terms of cost, in terms of number of unit to produce, in terms of how the company can actually utilize more and more, or you could say better resources when it's come to the you could say when it's come to the inputs in terms of labor, in terms of material, in terms of you could say overheads. Okay, so in such a cases when the company want to improve the productivity, for that purpose definitely they need to plan some alternate options, and for that purpose as well you require capital budgeting decision making. Okay, now the next one is a learning curve effect. You can see the definition right now. I think it is mentioned on my slide itself. What is learning curve effect? First, what is learning curve that we need to understand? Okay, learning curve is basically one of the economics concept. You can see that economies of scale are outcome of long run production under which the scale of operation of the firm increases. Economies of scale lead to fall in long run average cost of production as the output of firm increases. On the other hand, learning curve is possible both in the case of short run as well as long run. What does it mean? First of all, that we need to understand. You can see that because learning curve is basically a process in which, because of the past experience, because of the, you could say, the performance of the company in the last 5 years, whenever the company assess their process, assess their, you could say, efficiency or their effectiveness, their profitability, they always need to understand the flow or the you could say the way how the company is performing. In such a cases, they need to keep in mind that this learning curve effect is always basically helping the company in order to decide that how the company's blueprint can be designed for the future, how the company's short-term planning could be done, or same in the case of long-term assessment of the organization. The next one is product improvement. Product improvement is nothing but basically whenever the company want to improve their product quality, product you could say texture, color, size, whatsoever, as per the requirement of the customer. In that cases, you definitely need a particular extra investment or some additional investment for your organization. And the last one we have, that is about the replacement and modernization. Again, definitely very simple purpose. Whenever you need to, you could say, replace any existing machinery with the new one, or you want to modernize your company with the new, you could say, better technology. In such a cases, you always require the capital budgeting decision making. Am I clear, please, with this? The basic features of capital budgeting, where it is basically used in the organization. I hope, am I clear with this, please?
Yes, sir.
Everyone, any more doubts, please? Because the theory part.
So please explain for diversification again.
Diversification is basically a process in which whenever the company want to change, not change actually, whenever a company want to, you could say, switch the existing line of their business profile from the new one. For example, you are right now you're dealing in manufacturing of men's apparels, okay, but now you want to diversify your you could say business in women's apparel, child, and everyone. Okay, so in that case, you want to diversify your business in different product area as well. It is called diversification, and for that purpose, you require some additional investment, and that investment basically comes under category of your capital budgeting. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Anything else, please? Any more doubts?
No, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. Next, start with the next part, the process of capital budgeting decision making. Okay. Okay, thank you. Capital budgeting. decision making. The first part under capital budget decision making is the project generation. Okay, first of all, always remember, like whether it's a diversification or expansion, product improvement, or whatever it could be, the important consideration in this capital budgeting is the first and foremost thing is the project generation. What exactly you want to achieve? What exactly is your target? Okay, for example, if I want to diversify my company, it is my project generation. If I want to start a new company, it is my project generation. If I want to replace my machinery, it is my project generation. Okay, always remember, whenever we want to generate any project, whenever we are targeting any project, the first and foremost thing, it should be on the reduced cost. That up to what extent the company can reduce its cost, which will be incurred in order to acquire such projects, such machinery, such land, building, whatsoever it could be. Okay, new line means whatever project you are selecting, it should be based on some new, innovative, and extraordinary concepts. And expanding we discussed already. Whenever, like for example, if you want to expand your business, in such a cases, what should be the better option for expansion? So that is again the one of the part, the sources from where the company can actually think about the future of an organization. That is called your project generation. Okay, the second point which we have under this category is project evaluation. Whatsoever target or project which the company do have in their mind, it is very, very important that they need to evaluate the project on the basis of cost benefit analysis. What amount of, you could say, investment we have to do, and what should be the return out of that. So risk and return analysis, or you could say cost benefit analysis, one of the most important part. And always remember, this cost benefit analysis, we have total 6 methods to be discussed in this particular chapter. Okay, which includes your payback period, average rate of return, net present value, IRR, internal rate of return, profitability index, and discounted payback period. So these 6 methods we'll discuss in this particular topic, and that comes under category of your project evaluation. Clear? Next one is your project selection. Project selection is basically one of the most important category. Once you have analyzed the different alternatives which the company is available with, the top management will decide that which option is, you could say, best suited to the need of the company, need of the hour, need of the economy. Okay, that is called the project selection, which is a discretion, discretion definitely of the top management or the owner of the organization. Next one, and the last one, is project execution. Once the top management has selected the project, they have to allocate the funds for the same. Okay, allocation of fund means investment of fund, investment of capital. So that would be the most important part. That is after selection, which is being done by the top management for any of the alternative project. Is it clear, please, everyone? Process of capital budgeting decision making.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Thank you so much. Everyone, is it clear? Hanji. Yes, thank you, Shipra. Move to the next part, please. Classification of capital decision. Now, decision means all about when the company or the top management decide that which project would best suit to their need, which project will best fit to their requirements. In such a cases, we have basically 3 major ways how the company can take decisions in the organization. The first part, accept and reject criteria. It will actually applicable when we have only 2 alternatives or 2 options. If we will choose one, we'll reject automatically another. Okay, so in this case, you can see that related to independent project, we do not compete with one another. For example, if I have to open one restaurant in the Mumbai region, definitely I'll select that whether I have to open in Bandra or have to open in Ghatkopar. For example, I'm taking right now. So comparison between this Ghatkopar and Bandra, the 2 different locations. If I'll choose one location, definitely I'm rejecting another. That is the acceptance and rejection criteria. And these two projects, these two localities are basically independent of each other, and if the particular owner or the business partner will decide upon any one of the location, second would be automatically rejected. Okay, mutually exclusive, and again very similar to that, acceptance of one will automatically reject the another option. And the last one is capital rationing decisions. Now when the company have at least more than 2 options, 5 options, 7 options, 10 options, what they do, definitely they actually rank their projects. For example, if I have you could say 5 project ideas or 5 business ideas in my mind, which business idea to be implemented. Okay, so like for example, if you'll ask me like, Ankit, please tell me which option is best actually according to you, what I will do, I'll rank the project, that this project B is first, C is second, A, D and C and so on. Okay, so whenever we have multiple projects and we are arranging, or we are actually giving you could say the association of that project on the basis of its profitability, on the basis of its ranking in terms of how the project will actually perform. So on the basis of the profitability, you will always rank the project, that this should be the selection criteria of certain projects whenever we have the multiple options available. I hope that is clear as well. Everyone, please. Capital rationing decisions, students. Am I clear with this, please? Yeah, thank you so much. Let's move to the very simple part, please. Importance of capital budgeting. Okay, we have discussed it already. The first point is large investment. That we discussed already, because it's a long-term investment we have, and we need to think at least twice to thrice before actually deciding that which option is best for us. Long-term commitment of fund, because it's a long-term investment of 5 to 10 years, even 50 years maybe, depends on type of organization, type of product you're dealing with. Irreversible nature. Once you invested, it won't be revert back. Okay. Long-term investment of profitability. Difficulties of investment decision, definitely, because a person has to decide that which option is better for them. In that cases, we have to take the call on this particular decision criteria. And the last one is national importance. National importance means because each and every organization, each and every business is basically contributing in the national development, that is GDP of the country. Okay, so that's the reason each and every organization basically working for the benefits of the national importance, you could say growth of the country, growth of the economy of the country. Okay, that is the part which we have covered up. Is it clear, everyone? It's very simple.
Sir, please once again, you kindly say the chapter.
Which point?
Sir, number 2, long-term commitment of fund.
Long-term commitment. For example, let's suppose you are planning to shift from your job to your business. Okay, and definitely, like if you are working on a startup of, let's suppose, an educational institute. Okay, so for building an educational institute, definitely you required at least 20 to 30 lakh of investment out of that. Okay, in such a cases, what exactly the company will do or a person will do, definitely he has to compare that whether the business which I'm looking after would be profitable or not. Because once you invested, because we are discussing the few other component as well, because once you invested, all those decision making are irreversible in nature, because once you invested, that money cannot be revert back. Okay, that's why it is long-term commitment of funds. Okay, because for example, you invested 20 lakh rupees. So that 20 lakh rupees you will recover in 5 years, 6 years, 7 years. It depends on the performance of the company. In that case, you have a commitment of your funds, commitment of investment, not for 1 year, not for 2 years, but it is a long-term commitment towards company's performance. Clear, I think? I think someone has asked the query.
Yes, sir, I got clear.
Anurag. Okay, Anurag. Thank you so much. Anyone else, please, having any doubt?
No, sir, nothing.
Okay, thank you so much. Shall we move to the next part then? Because now we have to start the core part of this particular topic, that is the methods of capital budgeting. Shall we start?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Next one, please. Evaluation techniques of project. As I told you, we will discuss 6 methods of project evaluation. That is the second, I think I told you already. There's a method, cost benefit analysis, which we have to do. Okay. So that cost benefit analysis can be done with the help of this 6 method. I'll request everyone, please can note down this method's name right now, because it's very, very important topic. And make sure not this topic is useful for your MBA, but this topic is basically will help you in your routine life as well. It's a very, very interesting, very, very important topic for each and every individual. Okay. Please note down this headings of the topic, please, because we have the 6
Yes, sir.
markers. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Noted, sir. Just.
Note it down, everyone.
No, sir. Just noted, sir. Please share
Okay,
it.
just a minute. Actually, in between, I have to add the people because they are joining somehow late, because each and everyone is working, actually, working professionals you are. So we have to give the space of breathing to them as well. Okay, please note down. There are basically 2 heads of methods, non-discounting method and discounting methods. Okay, under non-discounting, we have 2 methods, and discounting, we have 4 methods. Hanji, once it is done, we'll start the first head today. Okay, non-discounting methods. Because that part, this particular first head, we will cover up today. Okay, and this second half, we will cover up in the next classes. Because I think today is Tuesday, so I think Wednesday and Thursday will take at least 2 more classes in order to cover up these topics. It's a very, very lengthy topic, actually. Hanji, shall we start, please? The first head.
Just a minute, sir.
First of all, I think as we discussed in the last class about discounting, I think rate and non-discounting rate. Can anyone tell me what is non-discounting factor first of all? I think we discussed in time value of money. Anyone? What do you mean by discounting factor and non-discounting factor? Any layman idea? Any general idea to anyone?
So there will be no rate of interest.
Rate of interest. Okay. Can you please elaborate, Ms. Poonam?
There will be no risk or inflation type.
Yes, inflation. Yes, very good. Okay. Anyone else, please? Student, more you speak, more you discuss, better would be the clarity to you, actually. Haji. Students, please. Anyone else? No? No, I hope so. Okay, let's find. No, it's good. So what I'm doing right now, that the first and the foremost criteria, first of all, we need to understand what is discounting and what is non-discounting methods, first of all. Okay. Now, when we discuss about the non-discounting methods, as the Poonam told that, non-discounting methods are those methods in which whenever we are taking or whenever we are just following any method, in order to compare the project profitability, we are not considering interest factor or time value factor, or we can say inflation factor. Okay, because inflation is basically the inherent part of each and every economy, and because make sure always this non-discounting methods are, you could say, not practical methods, we can say, because it is practically not utilized, but the method which is generated afterwards, it is the base of this particular methodology. And that's the reason this PBP and ARR are the important methods under non-discounting criteria whenever we are not considering inflation factor or time value factor in order to decide which project profitability or which product option would be best for the company. Okay, so that would be the part of your non-discounting factor method. In this we have 2 methods, payback period and average rate of return. And whenever we are considering inflation factor, in order to compare the alternative options available to us, it will be called your discounting factors method. Clear, everyone? What is non-discounting and discounting methods? Yes, students. Shall we start with the first method then, if it is clear? Students, please kindly confirm. Shall we start?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Rajula. Now, the first method under non-discounting criteria is the payback period. Okay. First of all, can anyone tell me what is the meaning of payback period? Like when it's come to the language translation, like payback. Payback means payback period. Anyone? Hanji? Any basic idea?
We have to initialize the sum of money for the investment.
Ma'am, initialize means?
Means we have to fix the money that around like 20,000 or 30,000 is to be start for a project.
No, Miss Poonam. This is not correct actually. Thank you so much for your answer, but yes. Anyone else? Any basic idea what is payback period? I think you always heard about payback, that cashback or whatever terms are there actually. Payback, something which we will return in the future. Yes, Miss Shipra, any idea? Anything came across in your mind, please? Anyone else?
It is like an interest,
Like
which we can earn in future, like a FD interest.
no, Gunjan. Thank you, but thank you so much for your answer. Okay. Yes, basically, student, try to understand why I'm asking the questions actually, because I just want to know the actual status of the students right now, what exactly they know about the subject. Okay. Yes, Mr. Anurag, please.
Sir, payback sum policy I have received from LIC or other brands. After 5 years, 6 years, suppose that my terms is 15 year policy. I have purchased 15-year policy. And after 5 years or 6 years, company will provide you some of amount for this policy period time. 5 years, one amount paid policy after 5 years, one amount paid after 5 years, which means 10th year policy age. Then company will also provide. And last time also company provide. I think this type of
yes. That is absolutely correct, Anurag. Actually, like it is in terms of, I think, a schedule of payment which you receive from a policy. Okay, that is the schedule part actually in the terms of payback. Okay, thank you, Anurag. Okay, I'm just discussing right now. Mr. Kaushik, please kindly mute yourself. Okay, so like when we talk about this particular point, what is payback in the terms of capital budgeting? Okay, always remember, I'll give an example right now. For example, you're planning to open a cafe. Okay, and that cafe which you want to open in the you could say main area of Andheri. Okay, for example, in Mumbai. Okay, now the cost of land, for example, if I'm talking about infrastructure development, the workers, along with like any other expenses, any other legal expenses which you have to meet for that. For example, the total expenses incurred in order to start a business is 30 lakh rupees for that cafe in Andheri region, okay, in Mumbai. Now, this 30 lakh rupees which you invested, definitely it's a cost of investment, or you could say it's a capital investment of the person. Now, definitely each and every businessman or the owner of the company is always keen to know about the number of years in which the particular amount of 30 lakh will be recovered. So always remember, payback period is nothing but number of years within which a particular investment which you have done into any asset, into any business, and how quickly or in how many years you can recover that original investment amount for that business, or for that, you could say, machinery. That is the call your payback period. Mean number of years required to recover your original investment amount. Means 30 lakh you invested. So in how many years you will be able to recover your 30 lakh? Because once you recover 30 lakh rupees, after that, whatever you are getting, it's all about your profits. Are you getting my point? Understood, please? What is payback period?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
sir.
Okay. So in this payback period, like one more thing which I'll tell you first. There are basically two types of income flow we always have. Income flow means cash inflow I'm talking right now. For example, when I'm talking about a particular individual, okay, and an individual having a salary of 50,000. So 50,000 salary would be, I think, similar throughout the year. Means cash inflow are similar. But when we talk about any business, in business, you cannot ascertain that the cash inflow you will recover, it would be similar in nature. Sometimes in the month of January, you have 40,000 profit. Sometimes you have 60,000, some have 20,000, 1 lakh, 1.5 lakh. Means your cash inflows are different for different month or different year, we can say. Okay. So always remember, payback period calculation will be categorized under basic two heads. When the company having uneven cash inflow, and when the company having even cash inflow throughout the life of the machinery. Okay, so you can see that. Like before going this part, you can see that the calculation of payback period. The first part, when the annual cash inflows are equal, mean the inflow which you are generating is similar for every year. Please student, note down this formula now. That is total cash outflow upon annual cash inflow. Okay. When we'll use this formula? When the cash inflows are equal for all the years or throughout the life of the project. Second formula is when the cash inflows are different for different year. Okay, when the company having different cash inflow for different year. In such a case, we'll apply second formula, that is complete year, bracket start, required cash inflow upon next year's cash inflow. Please note down, student, this point, and then we'll discuss the decision criteria after that. And please, I'll request everyone, please be ready with your notebooks and everything, because this is the practical topics we're discussing now. Please note down formula, students, everyone. I also understood what is uneven cash inflow and even cash inflow.
Sir, it is done. Please continue.
Yes, ma'am, sure. Thank you so much. Now, when we discuss decision criteria, like for example, because we are discussing about the various methods of capital budgeting, the first method we are discussing right now is payback period. Now, how the company will decide that what should be the decision criteria when we have one project, when we have two projects, when we have multiple projects. Okay. So decision criteria, please note it down right now. when we have only one project, for example, you are investing in that cafe for 30 lakh rupees. The same example, I'll take it right now for a single project right now. Okay. Now you are expecting that you will recover that amount in 7 years. For example, I'm just taking right now that you will recover that amount in 7 years. But if your payback period, actual payback period, as per calculation, if we'll talk about, for example, it is less than 7 years. So will it be acceptable or not? Your expectation is for 7 years, but you are recovering in, let's for example, in 5 years. So is the project would be selected or not?
Selected.
Yes, definitely, because you will recover.
Obviously, sir, selected, sir.
Definitely, because the remaining 2 years, you will be only generating profit out of it. Okay. So always remember, for a single project, when the expected payback period is higher than the actual payback period or calculated payback period, we can say, in that case, the project would be selected. And in the case of multiple projects, higher the payback period, project will be rejected. Higher the payback period, project will be rejected. Okay, for example, you have two options of cafe. One will recover the amount in 5 years. One will recover the amount in 7 years. So which one you will choose? The 5 years one. Because you will be recovered the amount in 5 years of time rather why to wait for 7 years?
Yes, yes.
Understood, I think, in multiple project, in a single project?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So after that, we have 3 more formulas for this particular payback period topic. The first one is post payback profit life. For example, the same example, like you have recovered your amount in 5 years and your expected payback period is 7 years. So the remaining 2 years is called your post payback profit life. Means once you recovered your amount, what should be the remaining years in which the company will only generate profit out of it? That is the meaning of post payback profit life. Okay. And what is post payback profit? For example, you recovered the amount of 30 lakh in 5 years. After that, you have income of, let us suppose, a 20 lakh more. So how much you recovered? 50 lakh from the project, 30 plus 20. And what was your investment? Only 30. So 50 minus 30 is 20 lakh is your post payback profit. Post payback profit. And if we need to calculate in terms of percentage, that is the post payback profitability index. Please note down this formula as well. Then we'll start the very first numerical of this topic. Hanji. I hope so the concept is clear. What is payback period?
Yes.
Hanji.
साउंड नहीं सुनाई पड़ रहा है सर.
Pardon, please. Can you please repeat your statement? I think. Mr. Kaushik, I think you have any doubt?
सर साउंड नहीं सुनाई पड़ रहा है.
Sound.
बहुत स्लो.
No sound. I think Mr. Kaushik, this problem is, I think, stick to you only, because other students can hear it properly. You can check your connections, I think, or might be your laptop or your device is not functioning well.
Okay.
Yeah, please, you can re-log in if possible. Okay. Yeah. Hanji. Have you noted down these formulas, please? 3 more formulas.
Yes.
Everyone?
Yes, sir. Please continue.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's start with the very basic first question. Okay. A project costing rupees 1 lakh yield annual cash inflow of 20,000 for 8 years. means you are generating 20,000 rupees for 8 years. We need to calculate what should be its payback period. Which formula will apply? Uneven or even cash inflows?
Sir, even cash flow.
Okay, because we have similar cash flow throughout the life of the machinery. Okay, in that case, the formula is total cash outflow upon annual cash inflow. So what is total cash outflow you have? 1 lakh divided by 20,000 annual cash inflow. So 1 divided by 20,000 is 5 years. I mean, within 5 years of time, you will recover your amount. Very simple. Yes, students?
Yes.
Okay. Note it down as well. We'll move to the next question. Because now the question technicality will increase once we'll move further questions. It's a very simple and basic question which I have quoted over here. If it is done, if it is clear, we can move to the next question. Shall we?
It's done, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much. Next question again. A project costing is 30,000 and cash inflow is 10,000 for 5 years of his lifetime. What is the payback period? Very simple again. 10,000 per year. We need to recover 30,000. So 3 years is the time in which we can recover this particular project. Okay. Again, it is, I think, clear. Very simple question. 30,000 total cash outflow. 10,000 is the inflow for per year basis. So in this case, the you could say the amount which we have generated out of it, it would be in 3 years, we can recover that amount of 30,000 rupees. And when you need to calculate in the percentage form, it should be annual return upon investment into 100. I think you can see this formula. This is post payback profit upon initial investment. Okay, so with this formula as well, you can calculate this part. Annual return upon investments. I mean 33%, 33.33% is the rate of return.
Okay.
Clear, I think? Very simple question.
Yes.
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. Before moving further, yeah, let's discuss this question first of uneven cash inflow, and then we'll move to the income statement calculation. Okay, first of all, just see this third question now. A project having the cash outflow of 25,000 rupees, okay, and the cash inflow which is generated by the company is for 6 years are 5, 8, 10, 12, 7, and 3. Okay, so these are 6 years cash inflow we have. Which type of variety it is? Uneven cash inflows?
Yes, sir, uneven.
Okay.
Yes,
So we'll apply second formula in this case. This formula. Complete year plus required cash inflow upon next year's cash inflow. Is it clear, please? Second formula will apply now. Okay. So please try to understand first and then you can copy this answer. Okay. First of all, whenever we have uneven cash inflow, we need to calculate cumulative cash inflows of that. Cumulative, how to calculate? 5 plus 8, 13, 13 plus 10, 23, 23 plus 12, 35, 35 plus 7, 42, 42 plus 3, 45. This is the very first stage. First of all, you need to calculate cumulative cash inflows. The first stage.
So please explain again, sir.
Whenever we have uneven cash inflows, so the uneven cash flows, first of all, you need to calculate cumulative cash inflows. Cumulative means like 5 plus 8, 13, 13 plus 10, 23, 23 plus 12, 35, and so on till 45. First step, cumulative cash inflow. Clear, I think?
Yes, sir, clear.
Okay, second stage is how much you recovered. For example, how much amount of inflow you need to recover? 25,000. Okay, we need to find out the exact number of years and month in which we will recover this amount. Please, student, I'll give the time to copy it down. Okay, just try to understand this question first. How much we need to recover? You can see that till first year we recovered 5. Up to second year we recovered 13. Up to third year we recovered 23. Up to fourth year we recovered 35. Means your answer should be between 3 and 4 because you need to recover 25. Your answer should be between 3 years to 4 years.
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now what we will do, if you see the formula, actually the formula says that complete year, this complete year can be calculated with the help of this only. Complete year means up to this year we recover 23. So 3 is the complete year. 3 is the complete year. Now if you recover 23,000 up to 3 years, what is the remaining amount to recover?
2,000, sir.
2,000.
Okay, so required cash inflow is 2,000 upon next year's cash inflow. What is next year cash inflow? 12,000, not cumulative, normal cash inflow. Next year's cash inflow is 12,000 into 12. Into 12, why we multiply into 12? Because we want this second half of the answer into months. But if you do not want to calculate in terms of months, you should not multiply by 12. You will directly calculate and answer should be in years only. Okay. I hope so this formula suffices to you now. Like it complete year plus required cash inflow upon next year's cash inflow. That formula we have applied over here. Clear, students? Hanji. So you can see that 2 upon 12 into 12, you can see 2 months it would be. Or if you want to calculate number of years, so how to do that? 2,000 divided by 12,000. So that will give you 0.16. So your answer may be 3.16 years as well. If you want to calculate only number of years, so don't multiply by 12. Okay, if you want to calculate number of years only. I hope it is clear.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Because we'll discuss few questions of this topic today. The very first question we are talking right now, but we'll discuss a few more questions. Okay. Haji, have you copied his answer, please, everyone? Understood? 3.16 and different between 3 years and 2 months. There's a conversion of from months to years.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Hanji, done everyone? Understood this second set of questions?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we are taking only 10 minutes of break in between now because we need to discuss few more numericals now. So it would be quite exhaustive for me as well and for the students. So just taking 10 minutes of break in between. We'll get back to it 6:05, not 10 minutes even, 7 minutes of break. 6:05 sharp, we'll start now. Is it okay, everyone? And then we'll start the income statement topic. Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Let's take a break of 7 minutes and we'll get back to you at sharp 6:05. Okay? Thank you so much.
Okay.
Yes, student. Shall we start now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
let me share my screen. And now the next part, which we need to discuss, in a most important part for this particular topic of capital budgeting, that is your income statement. Okay. Let me show you my slides. Income statement. Okay, you can see on my right hand screen. Now, first of all, what is income statement is all about that we need to understand. Income statement is basically the calculation of company's actual cash inflow after subtracting all its cost, that is variable cost and fixed cost, along with that, the taxation and the depreciations. Okay, means all those expenses which the company may incur in terms of its cost or in terms of its taxes that we need to subtract. Okay, you can see that sales means revenue of the company. From revenue, will subtract variable cost. You will get the contribution. Contribution means the contribution of a particular amount in the profitability of the company. From the contribution, you will subtract the fixed cost. You will get the PBDT. It is called profit before depreciation and taxation. Okay. From PBDT, you will subtract depreciation because depreciation is basically a non-cash expenses. Okay. So PBDT minus depreciation, you will get your PBT, profit before tax. Okay. From PBT, will subtract taxation, you will get your PAT, profit after tax. And from profit after tax, you will again add depreciation because as you know that whenever the company is paying the taxes, it is only on the cash receipts and depreciation is a non-cash expenses. That's why we're subtracting DAP and we are adding DAP at the end after the PAT. Once you add the depreciation in the profit after tax, you will get the cash inflow. And I think you remember the number of questions which we have solved till now, it is only based on cash inflow. Okay. So in order to calculate any of the question of PBP or even NPV IRR we discuss later on, for each and every calculation, we require this final amount, that is cash inflow. Okay. So we need to discuss this particular part. Please note it down, this income statement, and then we'll start this numerical of how to calculate cash inflow when certain values are given to you. This is called your income statement. Yes, students, we note it down fast, then we'll start the topic. Yes, and sorry for the interruption. Just kind of note it down fast, please. This income statement. If it is done, we'll start the numerical of this particular topic. Yes, sir, note it down, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes. So we'll start one question. Okay, please see this question right now. Okay, of payback period, in which you can see that. Please read the question first, and then we'll discuss this part. Okay. in this question, you can see that a project costing rupees 20 lakh. Okay, that is the cash outflow is given to you. Okay, yield annually a profit of 3 lakh after depreciation of 12.5%, but before tax of 50%. What is given to you? Haji. Because the company is basically generating a profit of 3 lakh rupees after depreciation, but before taxation. So what is given to you as per the income statement?
So PBDT.
No, ma'am, it is after DEP. So I think it is PBT, ma'am. 3 lakh. PBT, profit before tax. Because as per the income statement, you can see that it is profit after depreciation but before tax. Profit after depreciation means we subtracted all depreciation, but before tax means PBT is given to you. Is it clear, please, everyone?
Yes, sir.
So, in order to calculate payback period, you need to subtract your tax first and you need to add your debt afterwards. Okay, so you can see this flow right now. In this question, we subtracted tax first, 50% tax, and we added depreciation on original cost, that is 12.5%. See, why we are doing such things? Because in order to calculate your payback period, we required cash inflow to get the answer of your payback period. Okay, so you can see that 3 minus 1.5, 1.5 minus 2.5, sorry, plus 2.5 is the depreciation. So 4 lakh is the cash inflow. Okay, so payback period would be total cash outflow upon cash inflow, 5 years of time. Very simple.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes. Please note down this answer, and then I'll give you one question of the same variety to solve, please. Okay. Everyone, please note it down and do let me know if there any query to anyone. Yes, and once done, please let me know. I hope so you understood this part. Whenever we have any PBT, PAT or PBT is given to you, first of all, you need to convert it to cash inflow, and then definitely you can start with this question for either payback period or the further numerical, which we'll discuss later on. Okay. Is this part clear, please, everyone?
It's done.
Okay, fine. Everyone, please note it down as well. Shall we move to the next part?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
We are done with this. Yeah, please kindly try to solve this question if possible. First is very simple, part A and part B. First of all, you go for part A only. Part A only. Payback period, please. Very simple question. Make sure it is given that after tax and before depreciation, annual cash inflow. After tax, before depreciation. So make sure whenever after tax and before depreciation is given to you, it means it is cash inflow is given to you. Always remember. Because in this question, you can see that yes, after tax before depreciation. So in this case, you will directly calculate that is 25,000 is the annual cash inflow. No need to subtract that part, please. Okay, so please calculate PBT in this case now. Yes, anyone got the answer? The first answer. What is payback period? Yes, anyone got the answer, please? Payback period for the part A. Hanji, anyone? Please, student, kindly confirm. Part A. What is payback period? It is
So
1
4
lakh
years.
upon
So 4
yes,
years.
ma'am. Yes. 1 lakh upon 25,000. Okay. Now the further calculation is post payback profitability. What is the answer? We have formula for that. Post payback profitability. Life of the project minus, total cash inflow minus cost of the project. Total cash inflow minus cost of the project. Anyone? Yes, anyone? What is the answer? Post pay profitability. Hanji, what is total cash inflow? 25,000 for 6 years. That is 1.5 lakh, and 1 lakh is the outflow. So that is 50,000 rupees. It's very simple, I think so. We discussed already this part. Total cash inflow minus cost of the project. What is total cash inflow? 25,000 per year for 6 years. Okay. So that is your 1.5 lakh minus 1 lakh. That is 50,000. Okay. And when we need to calculate in terms of indexes, we need the formula as well. Okay. That is post payback profit. What is post payback profit for you in this question as well? That is 1 lakh is the cost and 50 is the extra amount you recovered. That is 50,000 upon original investment. So 50% is the post payback profit. Okay. Students, please kindly mute yourself. Everyone, please. Gunjan, please kindly mute yourself. Mr. Debashish. Yes, sir. We have already sent the documents. I think you can contact to the college regarding the same. Okay. Yes. Is it clear the first part? Payback period, post pay profitability, and payback. Sorry, post pay profitability index. Clear, everyone? Haji. Everyone, please. Is it clear? The first part, part A. Students, please kindly confirm.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now, the next part, you can see that cash outflow is again 1 lakh rupees and the annual cash inflow after tax and after debt. After tax and after debt means there is no need for deductions now. That is 20,000 rupees for first 5 years, and for next 5 years is 8,000 per year. So this 10 years record is given to you. First 5 years is 20, next 5 years is 8. Okay, you can see this screen right now. Cash inflow, first 5 years and next 5 years. Now, how I told you, whenever we have uneven cash inflow, because for first 5 years we have 20, for next 5 years we have 8 only. It is called uneven cash flow question. Okay, in this case, first of all, we need to calculate the cumulative of cash inflows. So you can see that 20, 20, 40, 40, 60, 80, 1 lakh, 1,08,000, 1,16,000, 1,24,000, 1,32,000, and 1,40,000. Okay, so what is payback? Because we need to recover only 1 lakh rupees. So what is payback? For the second part, part B.
5th to 6th year, no?
No, only 5 years, ma'am. Because you can see that 5 years. Because you have recovered your amount till 5 years. So no
Yes.
nothing extra is required now. Okay. So the answer would be 5 years. Okay.
5 years.
Yes. Calculate post payback profitability and its index as well. It should be 40,000 and 40%. Please do it fast. Once it is done, please do let me know. Yes, and clear please. 40,000 and 40%. That is 1 lakh is the amount. After 1 lakh, you have recovered 40,000 extra. So total cash inflow is 140 minus 1 lakh is the initial investment. So that would be 40,000 rupees post pay profitability. Is it clear? And similarly, post payback profitability index 40 upon 1 lakh is 40%. Yes, clear everyone? Yes, student, is it clear? Please kindly confirm.
Yes, sir. So please repeat the question. I want to see the question.
Yes, ma'am, your voice was not clear, please.
I want to see the question again. So question.
Question. Okay.
Yes, sir. So the salvage value, sir, where it is being used, sir?
No, ma'am, actually, this will use like when we will calculate the ARR, next topic.
Okay.
Average rate of return, or it is required when we calculate depreciation. Okay?
Okay, sir, thank you.
Right now, it is not required. That's why we didn't discuss that now. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. So, shall we move to the next question, please? Now? Yes, students. I think this is the last question we'll discuss now, I think. Okay. The project costing 20 lakh, yield a profit of 3 lakh rupees after depreciation at 12 point. I think we discussed this question. Okay. So, yeah, I think we'll move to the next topic now. ARR, average rate of return. The second topic of your non-discounting methods. Okay. Now, what is ARR? We need to understand first. What is ARR? Is the average rate of return. This is basically the percentage return calculation of the annual profit on an average on an average annual profit generated by the company during a particular financial year from a particular project or from a particular organization. Okay, so average percentage profit calculation could be done with the help of this ARR. Okay, now the formula for ARR calculation is average PAT upon average investment. Average PAT upon average investment. Average PAT is average profit after tax. Average profit after tax upon average investment. And how to calculate average PAT? It is total PAT upon number of years. And for average investment, it is a cost minus scrap value upon 2 plus scrap value plus working capital. Okay, please note on the formula. We'll discuss one question of this ARR now. Anji, is it clear? Everyone?
Sir, WC mean?
Working capital, ma'am.
Okay.
Working capital, SV is scrap value or salvage value. Okay. 1 minute, please. Anji. Everyone noted on the formula, please.
Noted. Kindly start example.
Yes. Sure. Now you can see this question right now. Please kindly read the question once, and then we will start the calculation of ARR for this particular question. Okay, you can see that there are two machinery we have, E and F. Okay, each machine costing 60,000. I mean, the cash outflow is 60,000, and the life of each machinery is only 5 years of time. The net profit before tax and after debt is given to you. Net profit before taxation, but after depreciation. What is given to you? PBT.
Net profit before tax.
Yes, students. Before tax, after debt. Before tax, after depreciation. PBT.
PBT.
Yes. Okay. So what we will do, we'll calculate separately. For machine E would be separate, machine F would be separate. Okay. And the taxation is 50%. Taxation is 50%. Okay. So remember this, the taxation is given in the question, which is 50%. Okay. So first of all, what we'll do now, we'll convert this PBT into PAT because our question requirement is only PAT. So how to convert the PBT into PAT? We'll subtract taxation. Okay. So you can see that, please. PBT is given to you. For machine E, we subtracted taxation 50%. 7500, 10, 12,500, 7,500 and 5,000. You will get the PAT amount. For machine E only I'm talking right now. For machine E I'm talking right now. For F you will do it by yourself. Okay. Now this is your PAT. First and foremost thing we need to calculate is the average PAT. Average profit after tax. How to calculate? Total PAT upon number of years. Total PAT upon number of years. 42,500 upon 5. 8,500. Clear? 8,500. Second calculation is of average investment. What is the formula? Cost minus scrap value divided by 2 plus scrap value plus working capital. And in this question, SV is not given to you. WC is also not given to you. So what we will do? The formula would be simple like cost divided by 2 only. Okay. So you can see that average investment would be cost divided by 2. That is 30,000. Cost divided by 2. That is 30,000. Okay. So how to calculate ARR? Average PAT upon average investment into 100. 8,500 upon 30,000 into 100 is 28.33%. Means on an average, we are generating 28.33% of profit from machine E on annual basis.
Sir, 60,000 की detail बताना.
मैम
Yes, sir.
60 आपका मशीनरी का कॉस्ट है.
अच्छा, ठीक है, ठीक है, ठीक है.
Yes. ठीक है. So 60 upon 2 because SV and WC is not given to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes.
Similarly, please solve for machine F as well.
So please again explain the average investment.
Average investment, ma'am, it is cost minus scrap value upon 2 plus scrap value per working capital. Now, in this question, scrap value and working capital is not given to you. Okay. So, formula would be only cost minus 0 upon 2 plus 0 plus 0. So, definitely the formula would be cost divided by 2 only. So, cost is 60 divided by 2, 30,000. Clear?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Please go for machine F now. Everyone. Machine F and give me the answer. It should be 30%. Please do it fast. Yes, everyone. Please try to solve this question now. For machine F as well. E is 28.33% and F would be your 30%. Yes, exact 30%.
Sir, PAT is 7200.
Madam, 7200. No. Average PAT.
Average PAT is 7200.
No. It is 9,000. 45 upon 5.
Okay.
Hanji. Please try it.
हेलो, एक्सक्यूज मी सर. ये जो 30% है 20,000 का तो 600 होगा ना, 6,000 होगा ना. 10,000 कैसे? 50% or 30%? Calculate.
No.
F
Actually,
machinery.
there is an error in the question actually because second year is 10, not 15. Actually, it is 10 now. It is 10.
Okay, because I solved 30%, na.
Yes. It is 10,000, ma'am, first of all. It is not actually 30,000. Sorry, 15,000. It is 10 actually.
Second year 10,000.
Hanji. It is not 15. It is 10,000.
But third year, I say third year.
Third year is 20. 20 ka 50% is 10,000.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, please read everyone this 15 as 10,000. Or else your answer will change actually.
Sir, PAT remains same as F machinery. 8,500.
Average PAT?
Average PAT is same.
No.
Because 42,500 is a
No, it is
tax.
45. It would be 45 average PAT. Sorry, total PAT in the machine F. I think, yeah.
Sir, how? Sir,
Yeah, understood,
but
understood.
I can't understand if you say.
No, I understood your point actually, because there are some error in the question, ma'am, actually. Okay. So like,
Yes.
yeah, definitely. 1 minute.
8500 is same. Remain E machinery and F machinery.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Next
So
is.
might be, I think there is an error in complete in the section F actually, in the question actually. Okay. So like if we calculate with the given data, like even if we are not putting this 10,000 across as well, so it should be
Yes.
like 25. 1 minute. 25 plus 7500
Hmm.
plus 7500 plus 10 plus 15
So 47,500 divided by
plus 10. 45 it would be. Okay.
47. Sorry, nahi na. 47,500
45
divided
आएगा
by
ना?
5.
45.
40.
From 25, 7500, 10, 15 and 10.
1 minute, sir. I recalculate. Okay.
Yes. 25, 7500, 10, 15 and 10.
Please wait.
Okay, so that would be 45.
Sir, please check. 47,500 is
Okay.
total. Please check.
25 plus
2,500.
7500
7,500
plus 10
plus 10,000 plus 15,000 plus
plus
10,000.
15,000 plus 10,000. 45. Now 45 आएगा ना answer. 45 is the total PAT.
Yes, sir, it is 45.
And 45 divided by 5, that is 9,000.
Okay. 45,000. Sorry.
हाँ जी. That is 9,000. और आपका average investment would be same. That is 30,000. Okay, so if we'll calculate 9,000 divided by 30,000 into 100. So that will give you again same answer, 30%. Understood?
Yes.
Anji. Everyone, this is for machine F I am talking right now, okay? Because there are some error in the calculation, but I am solving it. This is machine F. Anji, clear?
Yes.
Okay. Understood, I think so. ARR and NP, both questions.
Yes.
Okay. Now you can do one thing, please. You can pick any of the book, and please, if you won't practice these questions, definitely you won't have the command on the subject, because now the topic which you wanted to cover in full session in this month, actually, it's all about practicals. Okay. So more you practice, better would be the understanding for this topic. And please be ready with doubts. Actually, it's very, very important. Okay.
Okay.
So please tell the name of the book.
Ma'am, M.Y. Khan, if you can pick, or I can do one thing. I can share the book with on your email IDs, I think so.
Yes. Provide me, please.
Yes, ma'am. I think.
Sir, I am having M.Y. Khan and PK Jain.
You have Poonam, I think Poonam, ma'am.
Yes, sir. I am having M.Y. Khan and PK Jain book.
Is it in soft copy, ma'am, or hard copy?
Sir, it is a hard copy, sir.
Hard copy. Okay. So if you people can actually refer M.Y. Khan, it's far better. It's the best book actually for this particular subject. Okay, even you can purchase it from market.
So, but the concepts are not clear, because I have already done MBA from IGNOU, but my financial management was 0 from that book.
Okay.
So that's why I am repeating with you, sir.
Might be like because of the instructor actually, because if the faculty is good in terms of explaining the concept, definitely the book is somehow which is secondary part.
So the book is not good, sir. I have referred several times. I have appeared for NET also with this book, but the book is not very good. Yes, sir.
Okay. So I can do one thing. I think I can share with any one student because I have few. You can just contact me on this number on WhatsApp. I'll share the ebook. I think so. Okay. Few ebooks, few questions which I have. So I'll share it with you. Is it okay?
So please wait the mobile number. So rewrite the mobile number.
Yes, sure. Kaushik, please tell me.
Sir, ebook, sir.
Yeah, ebook I'll share, or even the notes which I have, I'll share for this particular subject. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Fine. So any more queries, please, from today's session? What is capital budgeting? Introduction we discussed. We discussed about non-discounting method, ARR and NPV. Okay. Yes, Mr. Romik, the sessions, because like this is our 7th session actually. The last 6 sessions which we have, it is already been uploaded on the IIBM YouTube channel. Okay. So you can visit over there and you can please watch it. And in
Hello?
please do that.
Sir, can you share me link? I have no link YouTube.
Link, ma'am, you just do one thing, like I'm just showing you on my screen as well. Just go to on youtube.com. 1 minute, ma'am. I'm sharing that link with you. No, right now it is not allowing me to open. But if you'll go to youtube.com and if you will search that IIBM Institute of Business Management, it would definitely suffice your purpose, ma'am. Okay. If not, just text me on my WhatsApp number. I'll share that. Okay.
Share your number.
Ma'am, is it already there in chat box? You can see that. Okay. Or even you can approach me on my IDs as well. Okay. So you can approach me on this ID, or you can approach me on through WhatsApp as well. Okay. So I think, shall we sign out for the day? If there is no more queries for the session, please do solve few questions of this PVP and ARR, and do let me know in the initial half of 15 minutes of the start of the session. We can discuss those doubts. Clear? Okay, students?
Okay, sir.
Okay, fine. So thank you so much, and we'll catch you at the same time tomorrow, and we'll discuss the next half of our methods. That is called the discounting method. The first method is discounting payback period. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll catch you tomorrow now.